Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome. I'm very pleased to be joined by Thomas Becker. Thomas is the managing director of String. String, for those of you who don't know, is a coalition or an association of 8 regions and 6 cities across Northern Europe. So a modern day Hanseatic League, as it were, looking at sustainable transport. So Thomas, thanks for joining us. Could you maybe give a brief sort of introduction to both yourself and String? I saw with notice you have a background in Danish politics or Danish civil service, and also a former stint as the CEO of Wind Europe. So certainly one familiar to the region and familiar to renewable energy.
Yes, thank you, and good morning or good afternoon or whatever it is. I'm Thomas Becker. I work in String, as the introducer told us. It is an association, an advocacy association, and concrete projects that is owned by 8 regions and 6 cities in Northern Europe, from Hamburg to Oslo. We work with green industry and infrastructure mostly. Mm-hmm. We work with binding the region together and becoming more of a unity. Northern Europe. We think that we have quite a lot to offer in the green industry. And therefore, our owners would like us to unite. Now, when it concerns hydrogen, it so happened that at some stage we were wondering why you could not fuel your truck between Hamburg and Oslo if you wanted to transport heavy duty trucks from Hamburg to Oslo, vice versa. Because that was not a possibility and still is not. And therefore, we constructed a project. We got investors, we got the EU to help, and now we have the financing and everything ready for 12 to 14 fueling stations for heavy trucks in the stretch. Why was this necessary? Well, mm-hmm. In many cases in Europe, there is the chicken and egg problematic when it concerns hydrogen in transport. Yeah. About consumers saying that there are no trucks. Truck owners say that truck producers say that they can't fuel them. Fueling stations are saying that there are no trucks to use them. So we wanted to break that vicious circle and contribute in getting the project together and run it and finance it to build this stretch. More stretches will be built, yeah, thanks to this. Across east-west in our region, and also going south, but I can tell you more about that later.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting in terms of the common argument around, well, isn't mobility going electric or pure electric? What are some of your thoughts around the importance of hydrogen? Why did hydrogen present specifically a good solution specifically for trucks?
Well, it's interesting because it's almost like Christianity, that you are either a Protestant or Catholic, yeah, or a Roman or a Greek Catholic, or whatever you call it in English. I mean, I think it's not either or. I think it's both. Yeah. Of course, you need, for more light transport, you can use electrical vehicles and for personal cars. For heavy trucks, meaning above 40 tons, and a need for transport, let's say between 800 and 1200 kilometers in one stretch.
Mhm.
There is no alternative at the moment. There is no electrical truck that can take 48 tons truck over the Hallandsåsen in Sweden. Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So this is the technology we have now. And I think the worst enemy of the green transitions are those that are saying, oh, we have to wait until tomorrow because a new and better technology will occur.
Yeah.
Well, this is the technology we have. It is exactly the same story when we were commencing the wind energy in the 90s. Everybody said, oh, something much more modern will come in a few years, so why bother now? This is not a way you can do politics. There will always be a new technology in the future that probably is better. But for now, and if you want to be able to have this strength, this ability of carrying heavy shipments, and you do not want to use diesel trucks, hydrogen is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
It might change, but my counter argument in that connection would be, isn't it better to have a technology by which you can store the power of the renewable energy for a while, and then spend it when prices are high and when the need is there, rather than as for the moment, well, you have to use it as soon as you produce it, more or less.
Yeah.
Because the battery capacity for electrical devices is not big enough.
Yeah.
So I think that the way hydrogen as such should be regarded in the energy sector is nothing else than a storage facility. It's a storage facility whereby you can wait until prices are high with selling your energy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you take it down to the real, very simplistic discussion, I think this is what it is, hydrogen, and no magic. It is produced with the use of electricity from wherever. In this connection, I think it's mostly renewable energy.
Yeah.
And then you can store it. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic device, because the biggest flaw with the transition into renewable energy in Europe has been the lack of possibility of storing it.
Yeah, understood. And the regions are favorable, and the cities are favorable. I mean, part of your role is to communicate, the opportunities. Yeah. So how are the cities and regions reacting, and are they all implementing separate projects, or this is the initial first project is obviously the coordination of these HRSs?
Well, they're very positive. They're very favorable to this project, and to broadening out the hydrogen technology into transport, as well as into production, as well as into many areas where it could be useful. In fact, some of our members are thinking of using this project to reinforce their green public procurement, in the sense that they will commit to phase out any traditional fossil fuel vehicles in their fleet, because now they have an alternative if the fueling stations are there.
Yeah,
which is quite positive. If all members of String, which is 15 cities and regions, if they would phase out any fossil fuel vehicle within, let's say, 2026 or something, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And this makes it much easier to carry that such an ambition out to reality.
Yeah, understood. Excellent. Well, you're obviously talking about this at the forthcoming World Hydrogen Mobility Conference, which is taking place in Stuttgart in Baden-Württemberg in 31st of May to the 1st of June. What have you got some other plans as well to going beyond the initial rollout of these hydrogen refueling stations?
We do. I would like to be a little discreet right now, but yes, we do certainly have. We are working with other plans. We're quite far in fact, in particular with the infrastructure for hydrogen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one thing is that you have the renewable and electricity goes into shore, hydrogen is produced, and then what? You need to get it out to consumers. You need to get it to those areas where there is a demand, and in that connection, there is still some way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I think all over Europe. I mean, I think the Netherlands are quite far advanced, but all the rest of us need to think of how do we distribute this new commodity around into Europe. And for a while we can distribute it on trucks, but I don't think that is sustainable in the long run. And if you wish heavy industry to phase into to using hydrogen in their production, you need much more stable sources than transporting on trucks.
Yeah. So
the
pipelines. Yeah.
Yeah, pipelines, and some gas pipelines can be reused.
Uh-huh.
Others cannot. And then there's the whole problematic of where would you store the hydrogen? And there you have, in our part of the world, very favorable. I don't know what you say in English. In cavern,
the salt caverns.
Salt caverns, and we are very blessed from nature by having quite a lot of those in the south of Denmark and north of Germany.
Yeah.
So we could be the storage for Europe of hydrogen.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic new industry.
Yeah.
Fantastic perspectives. I mean, what's not to like? I really think it's marvelous what is happening now. It is what I have been dreaming of for 40 years, and now it's happening actually. That we are the whole society is reshaping itself, both with electricity and with hydrogen and in many other senses, with the aim of becoming carbon free, which is the only way to go. And by the way, I mean, recent developments in Europe has showed us that it's not sustainable to trust external deliveries of, for example, gas, to be too dependent on others.
Yeah, well, I can certainly understand that. So yeah, certainly in terms of hydrogen acting as almost like a strategic reserve, strategic energy reserve, which is certainly the what the US has. I certainly see that being a chief role that the hydrogen can play in the sort of clean energy system. So we look forward to seeing the developments in the String region. It's obviously a region very familiar to us here in World Hydrogen Leaders, and certainly one that we're looking to to increase our activities in, especially with World Hydrogen Week. It's likely destination there next year in October 2024. So very keen to help the rollout and accelerate projects right across the region. I'm very keen to hear you speak at the World Hydrogen Mobility conference, which is coming quite quickly upon us. So many thanks for sharing your thoughts, and we look forward to seeing your work developing.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nadim.
Thank you,
See
Thomas.
you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.